Morning, Steve Free in Chicago with the morning grain comments. Well, prices overnight for corn, beans, meal, oil are higher. Wheat's about unchanged. Yesterday, we saw a pretty good rally in the marketplaces. Some people feel that some of the hedge selling that happened last week, especially from one Chinese managed fund, had been completed, and that the steep losses that we saw last week may have been overdone, and that we still need to ration demand. We're up against some pretty important price levels in beans, meal, oil, and corn, and push through those levels could suggest a higher trend. I think the number one thing is that the market still feels that USDA is still too low in corn and soybean export forecasts for the year. Some people think the corn could be up another, let's say, 250 to 300 million bushels, which would put the carryout at 1,100. They could see anywhere from 175, maybe 200 million bushels or more bean exports, and that would give us a negative carryout, which is impossible. So some people still think that prior to last week's sell-off, we needed to trade beans over $15 and corn closer to $6. And I think that's maybe in the cards if these numbers play out. The first real USDA report is February 9th, S&Ds. I doubt if they make a lot of changes, but it'll be interesting to see if they want to bring down the Brazil and Argentina crops, lower their export capabilities, and raise our exports and bring the carryouts down to where some of the private people actually are. And then we have weather, and it's kind of strange at this time of year in which southern Brazil and northern Argentina are getting or will get above normal precip, which could cause some localized flooding. Brazil's soybean harvest is only 1% done, which is 1 million tons, and they have in the lineup 7 million tons of boats to load, and it could, by the middle of February, reach 10 to 12 million tons. And so some people think that March, Brazil will be unable to ship maybe as much as 5 million tons of beans that they shipped last year. And whether that demand comes to the United States and tightens our carryout is the key, and whether prices are going to consolidate, trade sideways for a while, or actually move higher. Here in the United States, we had a nice snowstorm in Chicago. Everybody is safe inside their homes and working remotely. But I think that we'll be watching pretty closely. Yesterday, NOAA came out with a forecast that La Nina is strengthening. And if that is true, the U.S. could have a little bit drier and warmer spring and summer than usual. So we have to start watching that pretty closely. The trade is adding acres for both corn and beans, putting a big trend yield on it, a big crop. But the demand is so big that U.S. 21-22 corn carryout may only increase to maybe 1,300. and beans to 130. So again, weather is going to be a critical factor this year in price discovery. As always, these are my thoughts and not those of ADM or ADM Investor Services. Have a safe and profitable trading day. And remember, always treat people like you yourself would like to be treated.